Okay, so let's work through the handout I posted on the 10th. Encourage you to work through it on your own. And as you might have guessed, this handout looks similar to the previous one, except for we're going to be dealing with a premium as opposed to a discount. The accounting is the same, just reverse a few things. But let's discuss the handout. Bearcat Inc. issues $1 million of bonds that mature in 20 years. Bonds pay interest semi-annually at the rate of 10%, so the contract rate of 10%. All right. Market rate of these bonds is 8%. All right. So 10% bonds and 8% market are going to sell at a premium. Why else would you obligate yourself to pay 10% when the market is paying 8%? Well, because you're going to sell your bonds for more than $1 million. All right. Or for more than the par value. All right. So the requirements are similar. All right. So we'll start with requirement 1. Interest payment. And we've done a lot with interest this term. So we should have an idea as to what this looks like. Face amount. Million times and we want to make sure we use the contract rate as a decimal, so 0.10, and they're semi-annual, as are all the bonds that will show up on our test. So that's what we need to know, and so we'll do 6/12. All right. Okay, so the debt service on $1 million worth of bonds is $50,000 every 6 months. So that's your semi-annual. Interest payment. So to be clear, Bearcat is going to have to write checks to the bondholders. If it's one person, it would be a $50,000 check. If they're distributed amongst many people, which would probably be more likely, they're going to write checks totaling $50,000 to the bondholders, or if not checks, direct deposits. But they're going to have $50,000 cash on hand every 6 months, and that's called debt service. All right. Requirement 2, price these bonds will sell for. Okay, so when you're buying the bonds, you're buying 2 cash flows, right? You're getting the maturity value of the face amount in 20 years, and you are getting the interest payment every 6 months for 20 years. All right? All right, so we got $1 million is your maturity value. And we computed the semi-annual interest payment, $50,000. All right. You may recall from previous examples, for the maturity value, that's the future amount that we want to discount to present day. So that's table B1. And we also want to take present value of the annuity for 20 years, twice a year for 20 years. And that's table B3. All right, we can pull the factor here. All right. And so I've got the table here. B1. Now, when we're pricing bonds, always use the market rate. Market rate drives price. So 8%, right? It's in the problem. Semi-annual. So we're going to take it, chop it in half, and use 4%. Right, the 4% column. And 20 years, but that's 40 compounding periods. So we want to go all the way down to the bottom, and we see 0.2083 from our table. And then we'll do the same for table B3, which is present value of an annuity. %, 19.7928. All right, so we'll multiply both of these. Well, I should say we'll multiply the amount times the factor to get the present value. All right. So we get $1,197,940. All right. That's the proceeds, the cash proceeds. All right. And so that's all requirement 2 asks for. So we'll continue on with 3. Prepare the journal entry to record the issuance. Right. And if you've done 2 correctly, then the journal entry is easy. Why do you sell bonds? You sell bonds to generate cash flow. All right. How much cash? Well, we just computed the price. 1,197,940. All right. Let's see. All right, and we want to put bonds payable on the books. Always goes on the books at face amount. All right, and then we can plug the difference. This time we need an additional credit to balance the entry. All right. And that's your premium on bonds payable. All right. So that's requirement 3. I was trying to avoid the spacing issue, but we'll just do it this way. All right. Requirement 4. Prepare the journal entry to record the first semi-annual interest payment. So we need to do something before we can record this. We need to compute the interest, correct that, the premium that's going to be amortized with each payment. All right. And there's 197,940 worth of premium. All right, and 20 years, 2 payments a year, there's going to be 40 interest payments. So we just divide that by 40. All right, and again, that 40 comes from, these are 20-year bonds paying interest twice a year. So there's going to be 40 interest payments that we have to reduce this premium account to zero. All right, now you may recall the discount went on the books with the debit and then came off with a series of equal credits. It's the opposite here. So this goes on the books with the credit. So when we make the entry for requirement 4, it comes off with 40 equal payments. All right, so let's compute that. All right, $29,948.50 will be amortized away with each, and I screwed that up. We're going to do the 197. So $4,948.50. All right. So that journal entry, bond interest expense. That's our plug. Debit to premium on bonds payable. Credit cash. All right, so the cash is the actual interest payment. All right. We're going to debit premium on bonds payable. And your interest expense is actually $45,051.50. All right. And the reason we do this actually works out to where the interest expense is, it reflects the market rate of borrowing on the bonds as opposed to the contract rate. So that's why we have to do this entry. The interest expense, if we were to compute it, and I won't ask you to do this, but if we were to compute this as a percentage of the actual proceeds, it works out to 8%. All right, and that's why we have to do that this way. Okay, so you've got good examples from the discount side and the premium side, and those are really the only two things that, only two ways you can come at this. So that's all for now.